Day 280, oh no, 291 or the 289. I'm not sure. Anyway, what's up, chatters? I did nothing today. Yeah, I got caught in a little spiral. Let's just say that, little spiral. And I didn't really do much today. There wasn't that much to do today. Actually, there kind of was. Okay, there was a lot to do today, and yeah, really, really unfortunate. Anyway, I have to wake up early tomorrow morning. I have achieved employment for tomorrow, so I will be enjoying my employment tomorrow, collecting that paycheck, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with that paycheck. Oh yes, things I need to do this week. I need to migrate out of OneDrive, and then migrate all of my ChatGPT projects out of ChatGPT, and then cancel the subscription. I've got some time to do that, but I have no longer any need for Codex. But meanwhile, I will use Codex as much as I can. I think if I unsubscribe, I do lose access to Codex, but Claude Code is just better, and also I'm dropping everything, so I don't need Codex anymore. I don't need. I don't want to use my Microsoft OneDrive. I'm paying way too much for OneDrive, and I'm like, okay, might as well just move everything to local, and just pray for the best that I don't lose everything. So that's gonna be a big job of downloading everything from the OneDrive and then just storing it onto my hard drive and just praying my hard drive doesn't break. Been thinking about the future of the agency now. I thought about this, right? Agents, I do believe agents will be of a lot of value. Agentic workflows, so much value. And I'm gonna begin experimenting with local agents. Not tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. But definitely within this week, I'm gonna start experimenting and really just playing around with that, playing around with more agentic workflows, just running that. Ideally local. I'll start with local just because we'll be dropping Codex, and so I can't just rely on Codex and can't have Codex agent workflows because I don't have that anymore. I won't have that anymore. So we're keeping it lean. Claude Code, I'm kind of just leaving Claude Code as is. I'm on Claude Pro. I don't have the capacity to just run agentic workflows, and I'd rather start with locals just because I've got the capacity to run local LLMs on my system, and I'm not doing that right now. Like I said before, the whole economics of this business model. Okay, I'm gonna put you on some game right now. This is what y'all came here for. The whole economics of the agency service-based business model. There's three things you have to think about. Okay, you have to think about the golden the ratio that you should be thinking about the most when you run a business is LTV CAC. If you don't know what that is, search it up. LTV CAC, lifetime value of a customer, and then cost of acquiring a customer. Now, when you have of the three components, I think it's an LTV. You are looking at was it? I can't fucking remember. Anyway, if you think of it this way, if you think about every interaction with the customer, there's the acquisition, there's maybe it's not interaction, but the acquisition of the customer, then you've got the production of your good or service, and then you have the deliveries or fulfillment of that. If you run an agency, a service-based business, there's a human in all three of those steps. Humans are bottlenecks. If you like do SaaS, SaaS, every part of that is fully automated. When people subscribe, they can just, if they want to sign in, subscribe, they just click buttons. It's all automatic. Click buttons, things happen. There's no human in that. There was human in production. That's the one thing. But even acquiring customer, you just run ad campaigns. A lot of that can just be fully automated, or just very tool heavy. And so in a service-based business with agencies, especially AI automation agencies, you're looking at yes, there's obviously going to be a lot of automations within your own internal workflows, but you have to think about it this way. At the end of the day, if you're making custom projects all the time, you will be the bottleneck. There will be a bottleneck, and at some point, you cannot scale past, a certain threshold. And at the same time, you have to think about how many competitors you have. So there's so many competitors. You have to have something defensible. You have to have domain knowledge. That's the key. You can't just be some generic AI automation specialist. There's just no value in that. So the key play, as of, there's sort of like two paths you go. You stay as an agency, but you sort of productize your offer. Obviously, you have a lot of your own workflows automated and whatnot, but you productize your offer and you stick to a domain. And the same is true for the other path, where you, again, productize your offer, you stick to your domain, you understand your vertical, you understand everything about it, some of the pain points, the solutions, what's out there. You have the knowledge that big tech can't build, and you are now competing with automation specialists who are shit, or don't have the same knowledge as you, don't have the same assets as you, and so you have an advantage. And then you are competing with the other tech, that like other SaaS products who are potentially providing, who are indirect, sort of competing with you in the terms of, like, if they ship a feature, it would potentially make some of your own productized offer redundant. However, with the domain knowledge you get, this is the potential for you to kind of veer off into a bit of a SaaS platform, and this is where the scalability, the opportunity to scale increases. Like, you can scale so much if you're an actual SaaS platform and you're not a service anymore. It's like Airbnb. You don't talk to humans to go search up for an Airbnb. You just go to a fucking website. So obviously, if you're no longer an agency, but you're now just a SaaS platform, you've cut out some of the human bottlenecks, and now everything's so much more scalable. You can soar through that bottleneck. You just happen to now put yourself into a competitive space where you are now competing, arguably a lot more cutthroat competition with SaaS platforms. It's a lot more cutthroat, and with agencies, it's not as cutthroat, because you can just, you're working with different cases each time, and even times you might not be working with, how to explain it, with services, with agencies, you charge a fat project price. You can't do the same with SaaS. You offer them a product and they subscribe to it. I mean, generally it is a subscription per seat. That's generally how it works now. And so you can't just charge a project fee. You can't charge your client, your customer now, the price of setting up or building it, because you didn't set up anything, because now the setup and the fulfillment, the whole onboarding process is just legit, like, 4 clicks, you're done. So those are like the two current pathways that I can currently see for an agency. The other way is, if you choose like niches like healthcare, legal, these are ones where the legal protections, there are a lot of more legal requirements, and so maybe you want to dabble into local AI. That's a different offer. You could potentially dabble into model training, ML, and then you can hire specialists to do that, and then you are competing with something that regular as automation agencies cannot do. That's potential. There's a lot of potential in that, and the adoption rates are still low. So I'm definitely looking into that, and I think I would love to get into that, just because the adoption rate's just low. And if you have someone who can offer, model training, local, and so it's complying with all the legal regulations, with regards to data, and set up like servers within the same country, the whole shebang. That, and potentially enterprise. You have access to enterprise accounts if you hire ML, and you've got a big team, delivery team, and I don't know. The access to enterprise accounts is different, and I do have a vision of doing that. Now, obviously, am I gonna execute that vision given today's current efforts? No, hell no. So, with that being said, I'm gonna punish myself to grinding a lot more on Saturday, and yeah, just because what the fuck was even today? Anyway, I need to go to bed. It is time to go to bed. Goodbye.